Hey friends, welcome back. I know it has been extremely long since I've posted anything to do with my car or any updates or anything. I completely apologize, but here we are, we're back. I haven't had too much exciting stuff happen in my time off. I've been pretty busy, but I'm trying to get back into it. So we're gonna get into it. I do have some updates for you. I'm sure you see a little something right there in the hood. Yep. But yeah, anyways, let's get into it. So I guess first things first, we'll update on the good, or the exciting maybe. I know last time you guys, or I posted, you guys saw that the wastegate was running a pipe underneath here, and now it is facing up. Well, there's a reason for that. One, the intake temps that I was getting from that setup was a little hot, as well as we were getting boost creep with the one wastegate. So if you'll notice down here, the camera will focus, there is a second wastegate and another pipe running to the ground, as well as the one we're running up here. So yes, we are running two wastegates. You can see the lines, they split off and run down to the other one. This wastegate location wasn't working for me, so I actually swapped turbine housings to a regular housing and got the wastegate welded onto the manifold down there. And I was still having the same exact boost creep issues. It was just over boosting for the spring that was in it. I think I had a 7-pound spring, and it was netting me close to like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 PSI at the top end. So with that being said, I also hurt the motor a little bit. Whenever I only had one wastegate and we were testing, we did a 60 to 130 pull, and I think it ran lean that whole time because the boost was at like 13 or 12 PSI, I don't know. And I only had it fueling for maybe 10, 11 PSI. So anyways, I think I hurt the rings on it because we get a lot of blow by. I moved the catch can over here because it's smoking like crazy, so I get it inside the cab if it's over here. So it's over here for now. It looks kind of ugly this way, but whatever. We did get a strut bar, cool. We did Cerakote this housing, but it is starting to come apart. Not cool, but whatever. We're going to switch it anyways. So my tuner, Jules, made 1,025 horsepower on an RSI manifold. And I'm almost positive with looking at the specs of my manifold and an RSI manifold that the wastegate will end up in almost the same location. So I should be able to just do the exact same thing with that pipe. So the plan is to get an RSI manifold because I only want to run one wastegate, not two. And also my roommate's about to start his turbo build, so I figured he could have one of the two wastegates that I bought for, really no reason. Don't know why this setup didn't really work, but it just did. So here we are. Yeah, that's the cool stuff, I guess. The boost controller's all hooked up. Now she's running on like 9-10 PSI. But I will throw a bunch of clips in somewhere in this video of all the tuning I was doing with one wastegate as well as two wastegates to kind of get it where it's at right now. But like I said, the motor is hurt. It does smoke a ton. It smokes out of the exhaust pipe a ton. I think that is from a leaky valve stem seal. But we do get tons of blow by, and we keep blowing out our oil cap seals from the blow by, especially when hitting the boost. So that's an issue. So the plan for this motor is in a couple months to come out. We're gonna do head gasket, gap the rings, do head studs, and put everything on E45 and probably turn up the boost to about 16, 17 PSI and keep it there. That should be good for about 600, 650 maybe. We'll see. We'll put it on the dyno for once finally, and whenever that gets there. But that's the future plans. I'm gonna switch to an RSI manifold, put it on a V-band, get a V-band turbo housing, throw one of these two wastegates obviously on there, and hope that'll hold. It should, considering my tuner just made 1,025 at 41 PSI. So cool stuff. Besides that, I painted the intercooler black. I need to get a new intercooler anyways, and also I put this cool little lip on the front bumper. I had to use self tappers. It looks ugly, I know, but from a couple feet back, the lip actually looks pretty good. So whatever. I just need to get some new headlight lenses. And now we come to the bad. It's hard to tell on the video, but this entire fender is just completely caved in. it got destroyed. Funny story, my father and I and my mother were going to lunch, and he accidentally backed into it with his brand new truck, his 2024. So I felt really bad for that, because this is a $700 car that I bought, and his truck is worth a lot more than that. So he screwed up his bumper, but you know, whatever. We got our fender destroyed, but check out the fitment now, my boy. Look at that, I can't even get a finger in there now. The fitment's so good. Nah, but it's really not a big deal. I thought it got into the hood. It did not get into the hood. It did not get into any of the body, any whatsoever. I ended up just bending it out with a pry bar. And my dad felt so bad, he ended up buying me M3 fenders in Shores Black too, which is funny. He just felt bad, and he heard me mention that I was gonna get M3 fenders anyway, so he ended up buying them for me, which is really nice, and I felt bad, but it's all good. I can't tell if it got anything here, because I can see this gap is really big, but it doesn't really look like anything moved. The fender's screwed. You can see how skinny it is right here. It's not supposed to be that thin, as you can tell. So yeah, that's pretty funny though. It is like seriously thin right here, all thin. It's all crunched up, but yeah, that is what it is. But that's the update on the vehicle as of now. Other than that, I think I've just kind of been restoring the interior of the car to just kind of get it back to factory. So I got all the factory trays back in, the factory radio, which is not wired up yet, and obviously the AC, which I wired in a new ambient air temp sensor, so we got that working, and the AC working now, as well as a horn, because I haven't had a horn in forever. So I'm gonna drop in a bunch of clips of me ripping on this thing, trying to get it where it's at. Some of the clips are before I heard the motor, and some of them are after. So the ones before, I kind of pushed the motor a little bit harder. The ones after, you'll notice I didn't rev it out as high, and that's because I'm not trying to explode a piston. I know I heard a ring land. I know the ring land is broken, or a ring itself has cracked. But other than that, yeah, let's get into it. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna tear these fenders off, and we'll check back in. Oops. Oops. That's just great. And I just cleaned it, and now it's gonna rain and ruin my beautiful clean paint on one side. All right, we are fenderless. Finally got them off without getting the wheels off. It was a little bit of a pain, but still got it off, I think. Now you can probably see pretty well the difference in these two fenders. It's quite a bit screwed up there. But yeah, so gonna wait till we get the black M3 fenders in, put those on. I have been asked many times before actually what the whole setup on the car is, so I figured in this video, since we did a little update, we would just go over everything that's on the car and what it took to get to this far. So let's get into it. First off, obviously we got a pre-facelift 2001 330 Ci on MS43 ECU. Quick way, if you still have the stock MAF hooked up, you'll have a 3-pin MAF as opposed to the 5-pin MAF on MS45 if you're questioning it, because middle of 03 they went to facelift but changed computers as well, and then they still had some pre-facelift models, so be careful there, watch out. They do have some support on MS45 but not as much support on MS41, 42, and 43 like this one's on. So moving on, let's start with the simple stuff. We do have a set of D-Works. The last 3 numbers for the set is 123. I believe they're about 615cc injectors. They're good for 93 all the way up to about 500 horsepower on pump, so we got that. We do have a PMAS, it's kind of hard to see, it's down there, PMAS HPX30 MAF. They make a little pigtail kit you can wire in to your stock housing, or they actually make a connector jumper harness pigtail kit that you can wire in as well. So there's that. Fuel pump, we got a D-Works 250 in there, or 220 or something like that. It's on D-Works website. They've got a plug and play kit. Essentially you just wire in 2 things and then drop it in. No big deal. It's good for about, like I said, 500 on pump. Let's see, we've got a GTX 3582. It's an eBay turbo, but mock after the 3582 Garrett turbo. We are running 2 Turbo Smart 45mm wastegates, which we will be switching up, like I said earlier in the video. And we are running an M52 motor out of a E39. That's the pickup tube you need to be able to run it in this chassis. You got to get the pickup tube from an E39 M52 iron block. So this is a 2.8 liter bone stock. Just got a eBay intercooler. I think it's a 31 by 11.5 by 3. Does the job for about 500 horsepower, no big deal. We're running 245s up front, and we're running 275s in the rear. We're also running the GS6 37BZ, which is a 6-speed E46 transmission. It's pretty good for what it is. The 5-speed is great as well, the ZF. Like I said, we're on stock ECU, so we're running stock ECU. I am running an SCG1 boost controller, an AFR gauge, and a fuel pressure gauge. That's about it. A couple little MISC upgrades inside, but nothing crazy. So that's that on the build. I do have a 307 ZHP diff that's gonna go in here, which is gonna help for more top end. And that's about it. Obviously, custom intercooler pipes I had to cut up and, you know, put a little bead around so they don't blow off. Custom, you know, made boost control lines and whatnot, but other than that, pretty much stock everything. Just got 2 -10s tapped there so I can go to my catch can. That's a must. If you get the metal valve cover, it makes it easier. Place them back there, don't do them up here, because if you do a strut bar, as you can see, it'll run into the strut bar. And then this one actually hits the hood right here, as you can see, a little scratch. So do them farther back if you're gonna do them. Other than that, that's pretty much the setup, guys. It is a E46 330 Ci chassis, iron block M52, 6-speed GS6 37BZ out of a 330 Ci ZHP, 6-speed. Running a GT 3582, 245mm wastegates on a custom manifold made by Camille. It's a 3-inch down pipe into a 3.5 straight pipe all the way back out to the rear. Other than that, that's pretty much all it takes to get one of these going. Obviously there's a lot of missed parts and little
bitty parts that you're going to need as you go along in the build. But that's pretty much it. It's not too hard, it's not too bad, but it does take a learning curve just to understand everything that's going on. And once you take one apart, it's simple after that. So that's the build, and it'll be back to ready to go. But as you can see, nothing here actually got hit. Everything's straight still, nothing whatsoever. So good there. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I will tune back in. I am getting the RSR manifold soon, like I talked about. So I'll make an update video with that, and we'll see where we're at from there. But like I said, plans for the rest of the year are just to do a stock refresh with gapped rings, head studs, and a head gasket on this motor, so we can get our ringland issue fixed. And then essentially work on our fueling system and turn this thing up so we can make probably 650 and go out and hurt some feelings. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much. We're almost at 400 subscribers. If you guys are watching and you're not a subscriber, just hit subscribe. I promise we're gonna get some cool content coming soon. I definitely want to set up a few races on the strip, on the street, out in Mexico, you know, that type of deal. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, drop me a comment. I always reply to all the comments and read all the comments, so let me know if you guys have any questions. But that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you guys next time on B's BMW Garage.